This is a games design research presentation by Katie and Kelsey displaying different forms of visual art in games and various concept artists. The cel-shaded art style is derived from early animations where each frame was drawn and hand-painted onto different cells. This style involves harsh, distinctive shading. Nowadays, the style has been recreated in 3D projects, so movies or games, with the help of custom shaders built into engines. These shaders work by lessening the gradient between light and shadow to create those harsh shadows and lights. This is a cost-efficient way of emulating this style because animators can take advantage of the 3D models to create smoother animations in a shorter amount of time than doing it traditionally. While reducing the pressure and workload on animators, the device is strained to render the shaders in real time. This leads to the style's full potential being limited to higher performing devices. Examples utilising this style include Genshin Impact by MiHoYo, Legend of Zelda by Nintendo, and The Wolf Among Us by Telltale Games. Isometric art began as 2D art drawn with two-point perspective to create the illusion that it was 3D. This style is often used when the player is in a position of power, such as being mayor of the city or a commander of an army. This is because the player is looking down at the scene instead of being level with it. Isometric games are most commonly 2D mobile games, but are not restricted to them. For example, Baldur's Gate 3 is a 3D game featuring an isometric style. This is more demanding on the device compared to a 2D game. Examples include Sonic 3D Blast, made by Sega, Dragon City, made by Social Point, and Spyro 2 Season of Flame, made by Digital Eclipse. Low poly is a style used to describe 3D games featuring models with a low polygon count. These games will typically appear as more geometric and less realistic as a result. The fewer polygons a game has, the less the device is then forced to render in real time. This can improve performance across all devices. Furthermore, low poly models are easier to model and texture due to the reduced amount of faces. This is cost efficient, particularly for low budget projects. Early 3D games such as Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, and Super Mario 64 all feature low poly models. Cutout art aims to look like a character had been placed on paper and cut out from it, like a pop-up book. This is a very aesthetically pleasing style and is perfect for storybook-themed games. The style has been adapted between games to fit each project's aesthetic and budget. Some have been known to have 3D assets and character sprites on top of a 3D background. This makes the assets naturally stand out and pop. Using this in a game isn't typically too taxing on the device as a result, meaning that phones could use it too. The cost of making a game in this style varies due to artistic choices, but it is generally on the lower end and is suitable for indie projects. Examples using this style are Don't Starve by Clay Entertainment, Pumpkin Panic by Bilalaka, and Paper Mario by Nintendo. Pre-rendered 3D games were born out of necessity. The consoles and devices at the time could not handle real-time rendering, so developers would animate the 3D models and then render them before putting them into the game. This meant that animations were able to be more complex and sophisticated, as well as less costly than making the same fluidity traditionally. A downside was that the camera always had to remain at a fixed point. Nowadays, devices are far more powerful and capable of rendering 3D scenes in real time, so the style is not seen in the modern day. Examples include Abe's Exodus by Oddworld Inhabitants, Yoshi's World by Nintendo, and Donkey Kong Country, also by Nintendo.
Monochromatic games are designed with a limited color palette, usually relying on a single hue, shade or tint, or strictly using shades of black, white and grey. They often rely on a high contrast between light and shadow, using a limited palette to create a minimalist aesthetic. This shows a stylized choice instead of any hardware limitations. The use of a monochromatic color provides a sense of visual cohesion and can help support communication goals using cognitive color. Some monochrome game examples include Gato Roboto, Limbo, and Return of the Obra Dinn.
Concept artists have a key and important role in the production of a game. Their job is to create art of ideas for characters and environments. This art could start off as messy sketches to be time efficient and cost efficient, before refining the designs and spending more time on them as the concept becomes more finalized and refined.
Ralph McQuarrie was an American concept artist who worked in film and television. His career included work on the original Star Wars trilogy. His technique was often detailed, traditional, and he often used matte painting techniques which is bold but fitting for the Star Wars sci-fi atmosphere. Other people may use concept art when working on a game to establish the visual direction of the game and know how to start creating assets and such for the game. Shigeru Miyamoto is a Japanese video game designer, producer, and game director at Nintendo. He is most known for creating the Mario series. His impact on the industry is greatly due to being part of Nintendo, which has inspired generations of people of all ages, and his games have dominated the gaming market. He shares the ideology of being user-focused. He creates games that will prioritize enjoyability as well as complex stories and high-quality graphics. James Klein is a concept artist and art director, and has been working in the industry for over 2 decades. He has been known to work on Star Wars, Avatar, and War of the Worlds, among others. His art style is photorealistic, especially with his narrative designs and storytelling in his backgrounds, environmental layouts, and world building. Concept art is important for building games because it guides those working on it through what is envisioned. This additionally conveys an idea for the game's art style, story, and environment.